Hello, students. Welcome to yet another demonstration of Photoshop. This time it's Beardy. Today we are going to be creating, starting with our usual print sized letter document, a smiley face using shape tools. So I'm going to start out here by typing in something like this. 1-3 demo part 2. And we will create. Now, the tools that we're going to be using today are generally all under here: rectangle, ellipse, triangle, polygon, line, and custom shapes. For now, we're just going to start with these two, rectangle and ellipse. We're going to try and get everything onto one layer. So I'm going to start by adding an extra layer, and we're going to call it main layer. Now, the reason why we're using these tools is because they can be a very quick and easy way to make illustrations. Last time we showed you the basics on how to use and create shapes on a single layer using these tools here. So basically, if we have multiple shapes on the same layer, we can control how if they combine, subtract, intersect, and so on. Since we are starting with a smiley face today, we're going to start with a combine. I'm going to make sure that this layer is active, this one is active, and most importantly, I'm looking for that little extra plus sign by the icon where my cursor is. So I know I could click and start to drag to make a shape. Now at this point, it doesn't matter if it's in the, how do you say it, if it's set to combine, subtract, or whatever. I could always change that afterwards. And in this case, I'm going to set to subtract. And again, remember you could use shift to make sure that the proportions of your shapes are exactly the same. I'm going to do this again. Sometimes if it doesn't always, if you don't get the plus sign or anything like that, all you need to do is go up like this and make sure that everything set to the right one, or just flip back and forth. You should be able to click combine and hold shift down to get the right combination of things. There we go. So just understand Photoshop is a bit of a complicated program, and it sometimes can give you complicated results that are irritating. But in this case, it worked out. If you get stuck, however, when you're working on your own, please let me or one of your fellow students know, and they might be able to help you. So to start out with, I'm drawing two eye shapes, and then I'm going to follow up by adding, I think this is going to add another layer. Yes, it did. Let's try this again. There we go. Now we got the plus sign. I'm going to draw another shape. I start out by holding shift, and then after the shape has started, I can change it. So I'm going to change to subtract. Now I've got a subtraction pair of circles here for my eyes and an oval over here for my mouth. And while those are nice basic shapes, we want to make it look a little bit more interesting. So now I'm going to do the same process again. Oops, did that too early. I'm going to click off, click back. And this time I'm going to go and add again. And I'm going to make sure this layer is active. There we go. That was the last step I needed. This time I'm going to use rectangles. And I'm going to, again, start by holding shift to get that plus sign. And then I can click and drag my rectangle shape in here. And you can see I've got the basis of some eyelids. If I do this all at the same time, it usually saves me some work because I don't have to go back and forth. I'm going to make this guy look like he's a little bit silly right now and then maybe unhappy. So the point of this is to have a little bit of fun. Call it an emoticon, you could call it smiley face. Basically, trying to make it look interesting just by using some basic shapes. Let's try this. There we go. And with like many things in life, sometimes you just an important part of this process is just trying things out. You can see if I click off into the white space here after I've placed everything, all the blue lines go away. If I click back on using the path selection tool, all the blue areas come back and I can still move and edit them. And realistically, this is 90% of your basic shape, but this is a little bit boring, so we're going to add some more details. So I'm going to create another layer, and we're going to call it minor layer. And this time, we're going to take a darker color. You'll notice that I put my minor layer between the background and the main layer. So that means whatever I draw will be a little bit behind the orange area, like this. Oops, did that wrong. Let's try that again. Black, highlighted, highlighted. It should not be combined, so just gonna click, drag. You know what? This is fine. It is on a different layer, but this is what I want to do. If I want to change the color after something like this, I just double click on the thumbnail here and change the color. And this guy looks like he's seen better days. There we go. Let's do another one. Again, looking for that plus. And try to make his pupil about the same size. You can see very quickly how you can have a little bit of fun with this. Arr. You'll notice the purple lines, those show up and they're basically telling you if, for instance, the center and the edges are lining up with that other shape in there. Let's see. Let's give them a black tongue. We're going to do this with the rectangle tool this time. Now, another thing you'll notice, and this might explain why I'm doing it like this. I don't want to give them a square tongue, but if you see these little white handles in here, if I click and drag, I could actually make a round edged square. So now I've got a nice set of eyes, pupils, and a tongue as part of my challenge. And if I go to my rubric here, I can see if I'm going to do okay. Has a perfect circle for all its parts. The half circle for the mouth. Doesn't have to be perfect for the mouth. I'll give you 3 out of 3 for that. Stromaki, your face uses a second color to add interest or detail is underneath the major layer and above the background. Check. 3 out of 3 for that. Layers, all shape layers make use are in order of main, minor color, and background. All colors are separated into their own layers. Main layer, second layer, minor layer, and a background check. So that's 3 out of 3 on that one. And then finally, save. So you guys should know that you're saving this to your computer, and then you're going to be uploading to your Google Drive. So that's save as on your computer. And in my case, I'm just going to save to desktop. And then from there, you upload it into your Google Classroom for me to mark. All right. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you in the classroom.